Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
Darryl Cobb, thank you very much for joining me. You're taking on Gerald Thomas at Shamrock FC on the 20th of February. It's literally around the corner. I would imagine all you're doing now is looking at food, wishing you could eat it, and wanting to have a pizza. I suppose you're just watching the clock tick down, I imagine.
Well, actually, my weight ain't too bad. You know, I don't have a bad cut at 185. 170 is where, you know, at the last few pounds, it gets kind of shaky a little bit. But 185, I'm pretty good. So I'm not too much worried about weight cutting. I'm disciplined enough and been in the game long enough to know how to cut weight and not worry about those things. Very important.
Yeah, I was going to say, because with the weight cutting, do you see yourself sticking at 185? Do you see that's something you want to do in the future? Because a lot of guys now, you're going to start to see more guys going back up the weight class just to stick around their weight classes because of commission starting to bring in the IV bands and just more, you know, science being put into it with the brain damage and stuff. Do you see yourself wanting to stick around at 185?
Yeah, 185 is definitely my weight. You know, I started off, you wouldn't believe, I started off at 205, but I never weighed over 200 pounds. Well, I'm lying. Before I started fighting, I was a bodybuilder, and I was up to like 220. You know, I'm 5'9", 220 pounds of muscle. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But then when I started fighting, you know, I got at 198, no more than 200, and I'm fighting guys at 205, and you know, it was rough for me, so I went down to 185 for a while, and that really went well. And I said, well, you know what? Let me try 170, and I did a few fights at 170, and I like 185 better. You know,
yeah.
It's just I still feel fast, but I still have my power as well.
Yeah, there is a kind of point of diminishing return at a certain weight class, especially. People don't realise that if you're going from 205 to 185, that's already 20 pounds. Then you go from 185 to 170, that's another 15 pounds. That's a lot. That's 35 pounds in total there. It's quite a lot to take into account. And, you know, you think, guy, you have to do it possibly to experiment. Literally, Darryl, you are speaking exactly what I did. I used to fight at 205, and I would be roughly around 203. You know, I would never really break 206 that much. And then I went down to 185, and then I tried 170, and I'm like you, mate, when it gets to that 170, it's not nice.
Yeah, you have no energy, like, for real. Like, I mean, what I would do, like, at 185, I can go 35-minute rounds, it'd be good, but it seemed like the second round, just when I fought I had cut to 170 when I fought on Fight Masters. You remember that show for Bellator?
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Fight Masters, I fought AJ Matthews.
Yeah.
And the middle of the second round is when I felt gassed. I won the first round, he won the second round, and then the third round, you know, he obviously won, but I was really gassed that third round, and I had never felt like that. But the first time I cut to 170, I was at 169 when I weighed in. So I did an appropriate cut. However, I think my body wasn't used to it, and I just couldn't adjust, you know.
Yeah, it is one of them things. I think you have to do it to know if your body's going to react well or poorly to it. Because, like you say, mate, I did the cut. My body, I don't think, agreed with the 170. I remember weighing in for my last time, and my body was cramping up. I literally couldn't hold a knife and fork because my hands would cramp, my forearms would cramp up trying to hold a knife and fork. I remember I was lying in a hotel bed, and I just didn't move all day on a Friday after weighing in, and then on a Saturday, the only time I moved was to go and get food. Other than that, I just lay in bed because I just literally didn't have it in me. It would just literally wrecked my body.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, it is, mate. And do you know what? The fact that you found I probably will go. I might, if I'm going to do 170, I'd have to get my walking weight down lower if I'm to do 170 again. I might.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I might do 185. I don't know at the moment. I'm humming and hawing myself. But with yourself, you want to go to the 185. You feel more comfortable. Now, for you, I think the biggest thing, clearly, is getting a bit of consistency with your fighting, because since, let's say, like since 2010, you've not had a lot of consistent fights. You know, it's more sporadic. Is that due to injuries or work commitments or anything like that?
It's work commitments. Like, I've been working ever since the entire fight game. You know, people don't know my history. I started training when I was 24, and that's the only training I had. Never had any boxing, never had any wrestling, never had any jiu-jitsu or nothing. I just started Muay Thai kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, and a little wrestling with Jermaine Andre, you know. And I was such a tough guy, had such a big heart as far as not giving a F, you know what I mean? I didn't care. And I learned and I listened. I made it as far as I did, you know. I didn't have a manager or nothing like that. No, I was out there and we did it old school. We go out there and we fought, you know. We fought and we won. We fought some tough guys. But I've always worked. See, I'm a full-time father. You know, and at one point I was a single father, you know what I'm saying? The mom wasn't around, so I had to make sure I took care of the kids. I told myself that I wouldn't be selfish to them, you know, because the fight game is hit and miss, you know. It's not a guarantee or anything, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't risk, you know, plus my job, I'm a heavy equipment operator. You know, I got like A1 health insurance, so they don't have to worry about anything. My insurance pays for everything, so that was more important to me than the fighting. At one point, when I won the Iron Ring, I was ready to say, you know what, this is my time. You know, all I need to do is get somebody to pick me up, point me in the right direction, and keep me consistent. And I had enough to where, like, my union was back behind me. You know, they backed me up, and I had it to where if I had got the right management, I could have had a very successful, well, I ain't going to say successful, I have a successful career, but a very consistent career.
Yeah.
You know, even when I went to Ultimate Fighter, and you remember when Kimbo Slice got on Ultimate Fighter?
Yep.
Do you remember that? Yeah, well, before they elected him, it was Jaeger on there. You remember Jaeger with the afro?
Yeah, rings a bell.
Jaeger. We was in Vegas, we got selected, and they sent us to Vegas. So I was like one step away from going into fighting to get into Ultimate Fighter House, and they ended up casting Kimbo Slice. There was another time where if I had made it there, I could have, you know, been a consistent fighter.
Yeah.
I felt confident at that point. It didn't go that way, you know.
No.
It didn't go that way. So what I did was I stayed busy as I could within reason of what's going on around with my sons and all that. You know, so that's what it was, you know. No injuries. I don't have really no serious injuries, you know. I pretty much fight smart. I don't get hurt too much. You know, my pride has gotten hurt a few times, but I don't get injured too much, you know.
Yeah.
Pretty small injuries. Every fighter gets small. I'm just talking about as far as serious injuries. I don't. So I've been blessed there. It's just the consistency because I have my kids and I got that health insurance, and I want to make sure I have something stable for them. And if something happens that comes out of this, you know, then so be it. If not, then you know, it'd be a time where I'd be like, okay, I'm 45 years old. I think I need to hang it up.
Yeah. Know? Hey, look, it sounds like you made smart decisions. That's the thing. You're making smart decisions because outside of the cage there is external factors which make a big difference, man. And look, the things that have happened though, let's say the past few fights, you want to turn things around. Ideally, you want to have a 2016 where we get to see yourself coming out your shell and getting back to that killer instinct that you had. What do you think is missing? What do you think it is that you need to put in performance-wise to bring back the old you, so to speak, to get this winning formula back?
Oh, that's a very good question. I love that question because me and Tyron Woodley, we've been training a lot lately, and he's actually been training with me my entire camp, and that's what we talked about a lot, about bringing that old Darryl Cobb back, you know. What happened to that? And that's one of the reasons I'm doing the K1 kickboxing. Because where I lost it was I started worrying about all these guys are good wrestlers and people, outside of, fans and some people close to me. Oh, Darryl, you're not excited enough. Darryl, you got to do this. Man, you got to learn how to do this better. And I got caught up in the hype of trying to please everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at first I didn't give a F. You know what I mean? I didn't care. I'm going to do me. But I got caught up in it because the more, the bigger the promotions, the more people talk, and the more you sit there and you question yourself at times. If you like me, I'm like, man, I wonder if I'm doing the right thing. I want to, because you got people close to you, man, and people close to you that you think that's your closest to you. You listen to them because you look up to them or whatever. And I had to learn F what they talking about. You got to do what's best for you. So I'm going back to identify myself with the K1. That's why I'm doing K1. Striking was my biggest threat. Like, I had people scared to death of me because they didn't want to get in that cage across from getting hit by this cat, and that's me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had one of the greatest sprawls out there, you know what I'm saying? God couldn't get me. So it was one of them things where I got to get back to that. Get back to my roots. Get back to knowing that you are the ish, you know what I'm saying? You're not one of these just local fighters. You've been nationally around the United States, you know what I'm saying? People know you internationally. They've seen you in Africa and stuff like that. So, you need to get a hold of yourself and step outside of your box and say, hey, man, get back to where you're not giving an F no more. Let's go in there and let's do what we do best. And that's what I need to do, and that's what I'm working on.
It sounds like you've got that mindset of, sticking to what basically your strongest asset, which you feel is clearly your stand-up, and then all you want to do is sprawl if the guy shoots in because he doesn't like the fact that you're beating him up. Sprawl, get up, carry on, and that's the thing. I think fighters should do that. I think if a fighter has got a strong skill set like you say, K1, kickboxing, Muay Thai, if you're good with your hands and feet, keep the fight standing. If it falls to the ground, then use your defense to get you back to where you want it to be.
Clearly, this is the way I feel about that. Like, physically and the know-how and the technique, I have, especially training with Tyron Woodley and American Top Team. They have brought the wrestling and everything to another level for me. So it's all about Darryl having the confidence that stuff works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all I'm doing now, my little secret, but I tell everybody, just because I'm not fighting MMA doesn't mean I'm not training MMA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm training it, but I'm focusing on what made Darryl what is Darryl, but I'm still training and stuff. I'm still going through the motions.
Yeah.
So when that fight does come in MMA, it'll be a huge surprise, or people be like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah.
This dude been in the vault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He been in the trenches and he been working. So yeah, it's just getting the confidence. That's all, man. Cause we doing the work.
Aye, absolutely. So, have you got an idea? Are you just looking to do several K1 bouts and then come back and do MMA? Have you got a rough idea when you want to do that, or are you just playing it by ear?
I definitely want to get a few more K1 fights under my belt, but it's more playing by ear. You gotta remember, like, now we gotta choose the best fight that make more sense for me. I'm not just want to be just fighting just to be fighting. You know what I'm saying? It's gotta make sense. With me doing what I'm doing, if the fight makes sense, then yes, I'll do an MMA fight, knowing that it's worth the risk is the reward is more than the risk.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how it gotta be. I gotta be smart about this anymore. Just because I'm training don't mean I need to take any kind of fight.
Yeah.
So time being, I am doing K1, so it's almost playing it by ear. But, I still want to get a few K1s under my belt.
Yeah. All right, that's fine, man. That sounds like a good idea. Sounds like you've got a good plan to get, the kind of method that worked and won those fights before. And, look, before I let you shoot off, before I let you get ready and maybe go off to go and relax or train, can you give myself and everyone at home any social media to follow you on, just so we can follow this 2016 resurgence, let's say?
Okay, yeah, my Instagram is devastate _DC, devastate _DC. Then my Facebook is just Darryl Cobb. You look up Darryl Cobb, it's the guy that's flipping a punch. I like to give a shout out to Ron Smith Muay Thai, Andre's Academy, World Champion Jermaine Andre, and he just came out with released his book today on Amazon. It's called Muay Tiger, The Cub and the Beast. You gotta get it. Dope book. And my man Tyron Woodley, hey, they need to go ahead and get that man a shot. You know, he's been working hard. You need that title shot. You know, he's getting busy, but I really like to thank American Top Team and Tyron Woodley for being there, as he's been a very, very, very important piece in the puzzle. And my man Troy White. And Shamrock FC, you know, Jesse Finney, Rob Donaker, them guys really been treating me right, man. So I really appreciate everybody out there and all my fans and everybody out there that's supporting me, man. I appreciate you guys and coming and put on the show, you know, like I said in my last interview, I'm coming to show some inside work. Nobody has ever seen me do the inside joint, so I'm coming to do some inside work.
Hey, look, I look forward to seeing how the fight goes down. Have a great time at the Shamrock FC card. I know, like I said there, Jesse, they look after the guys. They look after everyone there. You're going to have a fantastic weekend. Darryl, thank you so much for giving me some of your time to talk. And all I can say is have a great 2016, man.